Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Coral here, and today we are going to be playing Our Life, Beginning and Always. Now, I haven't looked too much into this game, so let's read the description on what it's about. A $20 bill, 4 summers, 15 years, and a one-of-a-kind life. Create an experience that's all your own in this near fully customizable visual novel where you grow from childhood to adulthood with the lonely boy next door. So, I'm guessing this is like a love story or something. I saw it on Steam and I wanted to play it. Never heard of it though. Let's play. New file. I ended up skipping like 20 minutes of my recording because most of the beginning was about the instructions on how the game works. But if you don't know, this game is basically like kind of a story game. There's different endings and stuff like that. So whatever you choose in the game is dependent on what happens in the future. So yeah, that's all in summary. So this is our guy, right? Summer in Sunset Bird with your special time of year. Your usually sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crispy and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of school-less vacation with it. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed in what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. You didn't really get why they always had to say hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded back at them anyway. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the residents that greet you, but they all knew you well enough to accept that. I feel like they'll do the first one. It was the polite thing to do after all, and your moms had taught you to always be respectful. But today there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight.
What?
Whoever or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't recognize really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your mom calls it. So, for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your mom had to talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it would be okay to talk to new people. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. Remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. I think the middle's choice. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way in front of your door. But you were pretty interested. You wanted to know more about what was going on. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. I feel like I would be a little scared if someone was just like outside my door. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to pass him unseen, but it was too late to escape. There was a split second where your eyes met, and you took in a shaky breath, your eyes darting to the sky, pretending to stare at a bird who was hovering nearby. Hey! His voice startled you and made you jump, but still you didn't look at him. The bird landed on top of a nearby gatepost, and its black feathers ruffled against the gentle breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, especially when the man stood up and started to make his way toward you. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms and stared. Still unsure of him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. I feel like I wouldn't want to be on bad terms with a stranger, so the man gives a grin of his own back. Oh! This doesn't even look like a strange guy! Do you live around here? What's your name? You looked the man up and down, talking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed, the way he was acting wasn't. Oh. Okay. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo. Okay. This must be a surfer boy. And you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. Yeah, probably. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for you to answer to his question. Yeah, I live here. I live right here. My name's Coral. You continue to say nothing. I feel like I wouldn't want to tell a stranger that I live here. So I'm gonna say nothing. If you do, he rubbed the back of his neck uncomfortably, giving you a small smile. Oh! He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hands as he held it up to you, even more confused than before. You looked back at him. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have. Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it made him look creepier. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's around your age. Cove, that seems like a strange name for an actual living person to you. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. You thought it was pretty cool. I feel like that's a cool name. Cove is a cool name. You've never met anyone with that name. We moved in across the street, see? He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Coral Jelly, right? I met your moms earlier and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... Oh, literally 8 years. Okay, I get why this kid is like scared. 8 years old is like, it's a pretty terrifying age to like see a random stranger in front of your house. He shook the $20 bill to bring you back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him. $20 bill for an 8-year-old to be friends with your 8-year-old son. That's like kind of sad, to be honest. But you've got to keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. You eyed the man. You kind of felt sorry for Cove. Did other kids really get their parents to pray for friendships? I would feel sorry for him. Like, I mean, like, what the dad is doing is like kind of sweet, but I feel like I would want to make my own friends. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids make friends. You knew that. What'd you say? Want to make a deal? I didn't want the money. I wouldn't want the money. You took a step back from him, clearly refusing to accept the offer. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely.
Are you sure?
It wouldn't be so bad. Even if it's just for a summer, that'd be enough. I only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he took the bill into a back pocket and changed the quest. I get it, you don't have to. Would you be comfortable with he and I coming by a normal visit? No money involved. Yeah, I want to meet him. Okay, you could do that, I guess. You'd have to ask my mom. I want to meet him. His smile got bigger again. His eyes crinkled at the sides. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gone off to. He laughed when he said that, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. This poor guy! If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. Pink cast and glasses. Okay. Sure thing. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends, you knew that, but you were still going to help. This man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Your moms are already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. I thought he might come back, and that's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Coral. So much. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the bills behind your house. The hills, not bills. Step 1, first sight. Oh, this must be the first time they see Cove. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of waves on the shore, and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. You always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You loved to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. I feel like when I was a little kid, I imagined a lot of like mermaids and stuff like that. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you'd seen the flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to relax, to try to relax, and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. This the kid! Oh my god. This is Cove. Okay. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you found deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have... does this matter? Deers don't have sad frowns. This kid is sad. Why is he sad? But this new boy did. You wondered what could have upset him. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Are you lost? With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into a fist at his side. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a straight face. Oh my gosh, this poor kid is crying. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes widened, he studied you. How'd you know that? I met your dad. Oh. So, is this your heel? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. You can't own a hill. Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back home. Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat after the afternoon sun. I feel like it's kind of a rude question to ask. Why are you here? Why'd your family move? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as he asked the question, almost like they never stopped. His tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together anymore. With me? With me anymore? The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave and he took me with him, and now we have a house here and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. Oh my god, imagine stop crying. You'll like it here. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. Sunset Bird was a nice place to live. It had a beach, playgrounds, and a good school. At least you thought so. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Coral!
Cove?
Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his eyes, to his cheeks. Oh, don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back to the house. I want to go home. It'll be okay. We're struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna be all fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. I guess is crazy. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm.
Sorry.
I still don't want to go. Tried to convince him. Are you sure? You'd have to stay outside the whole night and sleep on wet grass. Before Cove could say anything else, you heard his dad's voice again, even closer than before. There you are, bud! The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Oh, that's why they kept on saying moms. So, the MC, aka me, I had two moms. Both of the moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Coral! You're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. Cove didn't want to go. Mommy gave Coral a small smile and then she turned back to you. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? He looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. I think I'm gonna marry him! What? I said I like him. Cause marrying is a little crazy. You nodded, smiling slightly. Finally letting go of his squirming, scolding son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you. Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Coral knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove. Bye. Two of them walked off into the darkness, heading toward the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper play date tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound?
Of course.
Then okay. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Ooh, choose your feelings for Cove. This is how you feel towards Steps, okay? I'd want to be friends with him, and I feel bad for his situation. So yeah, relaxed. You won't be able to change. Okay. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Coral? Yeah, I am.
How sweet.
I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Your bowl was entirely empty. So he nodded. Good job. He should be here soon. Clean up began, and then, on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still out, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Coral, could you get it? Wheeling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. There they are! Okay. Hey, Jelly family. Jelly family, thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms had called him, and his son were. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and mom and mommy behind you. And you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Why does this matter? Oh, I'm gonna put the shell. Let's go play in my room.
Okay. Take care.
He sounds like he does not want to be there. Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. Let him into your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at a sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, as a cool bed, and a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. I drew that. Cool. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. You hope he liked your room. You had put a lot of effort into making your room as nice as it was. You hoped he didn't say anything bad about it. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things he'd collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it, before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found at the beach. Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box in the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see? You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of stains. This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice or to be shallow. He actually meant it. Oh right, I almost forgot. Shiloh is gonna be here today. Shiloh? Lizzie's friend, or like her #1 fan, I guess. Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend, not mine. But, you know. Come on, check out my shells some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and he pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink where you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. I'd like to tell the stories behind them instead of like really looking too much into it. Apparently fascinated either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove discovered with what looked by the full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this, meeting you. Yes, it was because he thinks you found each other by accident. Not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right. that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd both had been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. I don't know how to say that, pronounce it. So I'm gonna just say Shiloh. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Great. Bust it open. We can keep looking while we wait for Shiloh. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh! Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one is the best of them. That's my favorite too. Cove smiled at you, and you both admired the shell together. It was a giant conch, with shades of dark and light orange. If you held it to your ear, you could partially hear the ocean. I found that one last summer when we went to the beach on a picnic. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Izzy's Why does he look so disappointed? Oh my goodness! It's just this dude. Why is he so disappointed? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. You'll be alright. He's here. You can't tell him to leave. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. Dude, why is he trying to run away from this guy? Or, I don't know, who this freaking dude is? But, I don't even think he's met him before. He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. Do you want to break your elder? Dude! Cheer up, Shiloh's gonna like you. He likes everyone, I mean it. But I don't want to see him. I don't know him. You encouraged him. Hey, if you do have a hard time with him, I'll tell him to leave. Is that okay? Okay. Shiloh poked his head into the living room. It was possible to know for sure if he'd heard what you'd been saying or not. But you guessed that he had. Oh. So as a younger kid, I think. Hi, Coral. And hi, Cove? Cove shot you an uneasy glance. Hi. I'm Shiloh. It's nice to meet you. Yeah. Why does he not like him? Dude, he's not even met him before. You have a lot of freckles. Right, I do. What are you guys doing? We're looking at shells.
Can I do it too?
Awesome. Can I do it too? Cove shrugged. Looked back at your box of beach findings. Dude, what about that one? The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color, kind of like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay. He does not like him at all. What did Shiloh ever do to you, bro? He's just so joyous. Okay.
Oh?
Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow. Oh, those are cool. This poor Shiloh, bro.
I guess.
I like those colors too.
Awesome.
Both of them smiled. Okay, that's good. At least I made both of them happy. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either. Is Lizzie coming back? Don't know.
Aw.
Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park? Yep, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. You started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You did too, right, Coral? The park is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's a lot of fun stuff to do. And lots of sand. It was a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it could be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie? I don't know. I never really want to see her. Oh my god! Cove! I just want to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short, she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. When you found her, she was hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie! Her face lit up when you saw her, her big brown eyes going wide. Coral, Shiloh! Hi! She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just three of you, but now Cove was there. You wondered if he would leave too. Okay, who's that? It's Cove. He's new.
Hi.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestured widely with her arms open, as if to present the area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in your ear quiet enough that the others wouldn't overhear. I thought kids couldn't own places like parks or hills. You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking, Lizzie, you do not own this, bro. While Lizzie continued talking, you took this chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through this warm sand. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are?
Uh-huh.
Yep, I am. Who else could handle the job? Lizzie is the oldest by a lot. My mom said you're Coral's age. Yeah. Thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. What about other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Oh, that's like kind of crazy. This place must be like really deserted, or like not many people. I mean, they did say earlier that it was like a small town, but I didn't think it was that small. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth. Oh my god! Oh. For a second, it looked like he might cry again. Why is he sad? But something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. I feel like I wouldn't want to set either, so only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Coral in the school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shiloh looked back down to the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove. I thought they said that there was no other kids there. Then why is there a school? I like summer vacation a lot too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. Wait, are they like the only kids in the neighborhood or like the only kids in like that whole town? I feel like it would be more probable that they are the only kids in the neighborhood because they have a school. I mean, just think about it. At Shiloh's discover at how weird she thought Cove was at something else entirely, you didn't really know, but she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile, and that, at least, looked to reassure himself. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days, when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. Oh wow. He became a staple of your everyday life. The way sun and lunch and the beach were. During your first summer, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. And these are like different scenes, I'm guessing. I think I'm gonna leave it off here because that was a really, really long like chapter, I guess. And if you guys want to see more of our life, you know, comment down below. Or I don't know, I feel like I really liked it. Like, it's an unusual situation, I'd say, because I would be a bit creeped out if some random dad offered me money to be friends with his son. But I'd feel bad. It's a very interesting situation, and especially since like there's not many kids there, so it's a coincidence that they're the same age. And I want to see more. I want to see how they like grow up together and stuff. So I will see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.